Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the November edition of our monthly Double Take webinar series. Thank you all so much for joining us today. If you are American, happy early Thanksgiving. If you are not American, happy Tuesday in November. Excited for you all to join us. Thank you all so much. And we've got a great webinar in store for you all today. All right, we're going to go ahead and get things started. Once again, thank you all so much for joining us today. In case this is your first ever monthly Double Take webinar, of which there, I guess, now have been two, here's the way it works. I'm going to walk through all of the latest and greatest improvements that we've made to Double over the course of the last month. And then if you have any questions, please drop them into the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen, and then I will get to those as we go through the webinar. And then after I get through all the updates, I will also open up to general Q&A as well. So with all that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started. Okay, first things first, we have some improvements to organizers. In particular, we have made them groupable. So we already had this section type tile that is essentially just a little like screen that you can put a like a title and a description on. But now we made those sections groupable. So you can now expand and collapse different sections. You can group your questions together. And these sections are also conditional. So you can conditionally display, show or hide a whole section at once. So just to show what this looks like for clients, it looks like this. So previously, if you had all of these expanded, it's a lot of questions. And we got feedback from some of our early users of organizers that this makes it really intimidating to want to go through your organizer. So now if you group your questions, it seems much more approachable. And then people can just go through their questions, work down the list. And then as new things become relevant, you can show more sections as well. So hopefully this should make organizers much more approachable. Speaking of organizers, we also have one more improvement, which is you now also have the ability to archive organizers. So if you go to your published organizers, you can click these three dots and archive them. This is great for if you have a 2024 organizer, for example, and you don't want to getting in the way of your 2025 organizer or confusing your team, you can just mark these as archived. Okay. Want to go back to the client list to talk about our next improvement. And this is a long-awaited improvement for those of you who use the Kanban view. So my apologies that we didn't ship this sooner, but that is that the Kanban view is finally now filterable. So here the Kanban view is showing you all of your different closes, but you can filter to show which specific closes you want to work on. So if you wanted to see, hey, I just want to look at all of my October closes, you can filter that down here, and it can make it much easier to view and much more actionable directly here from the screen. Of course, for those of you who don't look or who haven't used the Kanban board, you can click these and drag and drop them around. You can move this from not started to stuck, then choose your stuck reason. So this works like any other Kanban that you might be familiar with. So yeah, that's the latest update on the Kanban. Okay, next we're going to talk about some setups in the close page. So we're going to toggle over here. And the biggest update that we have shipped that I want to talk about today is the various sets of updates that we shipped to our account reconciliations. And basically, all of these pertain to the way that we can't directly access the reconciliation data via the QuickBooks API. So instead, we need to connect to that via other means, and that other means is our Chrome extension. So if you haven't downloaded our Chrome extension, would recommend going ahead and doing so. That's what's going to power all of the updates that I'm about to show you here. Okay, first update that you can that we have here is if you go into your practice settings and toggle over here to workflows, you can toggle over your statement balance. You can toggle this setting on. That toggling this on is going to do two things. First is it's going to change your account reconciliations so that instead of this saying the date of the last reconciled transaction in the account, it will actually show the date of the last reconciliation. Important to note, this again will only work if you use the Chrome extension to do that reconciliation, which I will walk through momentarily. Second is on your balances here as well. In addition to a timestamp balance, you can also have a statement balance, and this statement balance will also sync over when you perform the rec through the Chrome extension. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what it actually looks like to run that reconciliation in QuickBooks with the Chrome extension. So we're over here in QuickBooks, and again, this is the Chrome extension here. So if you don't have it, you do need to install that. You can go to our Help Center and just search double Chrome extension, and it should be there. And then here, when you're reconciling, there's a few things, one of which I already showed earlier, which is this Start Reconciling button. So in the Start Reconciling button, this is only relevant if you use doubles bank feeds. So if you use QuickBooks bank feeds, you'll know that these transactions get automatically marked as cleared if you add them from the bank feeds in QuickBooks. That doesn't happen if you add transactions from any other place. However, what this Start Reconciling button does is it takes the double bank feeds transactions and treats them as cleared if they have been cleared in the double bank feed. So you can click Start Reconciling, and that will immediately mark all of your transactions as cleared. And so hopefully that should bring you to a $0 difference, at which point you can reconcile. However, there may be a reason why your reconciliations don't tie. So here, I'm going to just arbitrarily uncheck one transaction here. So you can see we've got a $15 difference. Obviously, in this toy example, pretty easy to see 1575, 1575. But as everyone in this room who has done a shitty, messy rec with hundreds of transactions in it knows, when these don't tie, sometimes this can be a terrible exercise of a needle in the haystack that can turn what would otherwise be a 1-minute reconciliation into a 1-hour reconciliation. And that involves like downloading the bank CSV and downloading the QuickBooks CSV and then trying to sort of individually match up and reconcile transactions. So what we have instead is we have this Analyze Difference button. And what happens is if you click this, it will hoover up all the data on this page. It will open up a new page once it finishes doing its little boot up session. And then it will allow you to upload a statement that you can compare. So I'll upload our handy dandy statement right here. And then we'll also pull all the data out of the rec here as well. We have a prompt. This prompt is right now not editable, but it's basically pre-built to help AI understand, read through, and fix your reconciliation. And then you can click Analyze Difference. This does take some time. We do let the AI go off and do some deep thinking and soul searching while it reads the statement, compares it against all of your transactions in the ledger. But what it will come back with is a list of potential transactions that might be throwing off your reconciliation. So the idea here is rather than you needing to go through and hunt and peck for all of the different issues that might be trying to identify the issues that might be throwing off your rec, our AI won't do this for you. So hopefully, once it finishes its thinking, we'll see that it comes back with that $15 transaction. It does not. Okay, well, so this is one of the other reasons why we provide the AI reasoning. It's a very early feature, kind of still in beta. It's one of the reasons why we provide the AI reasoning is the AI reasoning actually does call it out as a timing mismatch, but it doesn't flag it up here. So normally, hopefully, this will flag this up here as well. But in any case, this will give you some things that you can go and investigate. And so here, once we find that $15.75 transaction, we can just check that manually and then find that our difference is now closed. So that's how the Analyze Difference button works. And then lastly, once we have completed our rec, we can click Finish Now. And then once we finish that, you'll get this notice here that prompts you to click the View Reconciliation Report button. This is actually really important because this is where we sync all of the data back over. And so if you click View Reconciliation Report and then upload a report to task, a few things are going to happen. One, it's going to take the reconciliation report and attach it to the task as your supporting documentation. Two, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to sync that reconciled through date. And then three, it's also going to sync the statement balance as well. So here, if we come back to double, we've got our Third National Bank of Texas account. And if we can see here now that's been reconciled through June 30th, we can also see we now have that full reconciliation report here as well. And this is really helpful, especially if you're a larger growing team and you have a set of users doing the bank fee coding and reconciliation, and then another set of users reviewing it. Because now those second layer reviewers can completely work exclusively out of Double. They don't need to impose additional work to make sure that they have all the data that they need. You just tell all of your sort of initial bookkeepers, your staff accountants, hey, just make sure that you have the Chrome extension installed, that you're pushing through the reconciliation report when you complete the rec, and then that way you have this visible when you are reviewing your account reconciliations, or of course, also on the balance sheet, because those documents sync through to the balance sheet as well. So you can see that full document here at any time. So it makes it really easy to see where that balance is coming from. Okay, I will pause and take some Q&A first. Okay. Question from an anonymous attendee. Which parts of the analyze difference workflow require double bank feeds be set up? None. So that's a really good question, actually. If I go back to the reconciliation screen, let me undo that rec really quickly. So these two buttons here, start reconciling versus analyze difference. Start reconciling is basically to bring the reconciliation, the cleared status from double to parity with the bank feed cleared status in QuickBooks. So this is the button that you only need it, and it only works if you have double's bank feeds. Analyze difference works regardless of which bank feed you use, and it is also available on all plans. Lisa asked, will there be an option to create our own naming conventions? That's a really interesting question. It is not the one that we considered when shipping this feature, but definitely would be a good feature request. Christine asked, can we sync the reconciliation report back to Double later if we forgot to do it at the time of rec, for example? The answer is you can. So you just go to your, we'll save this for later. You just go to your reconciliation history. Sorry, oops. Yeah, there you go. And you can go to history by account, pick the one that you want to look at, and then you can upload the report to the task, and you can pick whichever closest that you have access to. Aitza asked, would you recommend we still do the rec in QBO and then the reviewer can do it in double? Yes. So you're still going to essentially click the reconcile button in QuickBooks, and that will make sure that the rec is complete in QuickBooks. But then if you're a reviewer, you really don't even have to go into QuickBooks. You can just review everything in double. Alvin asked, is this sync available in Zero as well? It is not currently. It's a QuickBooks only feature. For the moment, we definitely do want to support this in Zero once it gets to a robust state in QuickBooks. Maggie asked, I'm assuming the analyze difference button will appear with the extension. Yes, that is correct. These buttons, anything you see that's basically like added in here in purple, these are all buttons added from the double clone extension. Sue asked, can clients see the bank rec reports if you want them to? So all files in double, you have the ability to make them visible or hidden by clicking the show files to client button. So by default, they are hidden, but you can change that. An anonymous attendee asked, will Double automatically add new accounts to the reconciliation section? We don't. However, we do have a report in the payee entity review that lets you see all newly added accounts over any date duration. And so from here, you can say, okay, Texas state comptroller payable is a new account. We want to reconcile it and then add it to your account reconciliations. Samuel asks, is there a way to add bulk multi-user sign-offs? Yes and no. If what you want to do is add multi-user sign-offs to all your account recs, for example, you actually can do that in your templates. The way you can do that is go to your templates, add a new template here, and just call this like multi-user sign-off. for account recs. This is an account rec specific feature, although you could use it for other tasks as well. And then we'll add a closing task area. We'll add the account recs section. We'll say for all account reconciliation tasks, we want to add sign-offs. And then we say, okay, like we want this to go to the close preparer as the first sign off and the close reviewer as the second sign off. Or of course, we could pick any other user here. And then from there, when you apply this to a client, then that will bulk apply all the prepare reviewer sign offs. Okay, that looks like all the questions to the account recs. So I'm going to move on to our next improvement, which is going to be for accruals. We have a nice little feature called accruals presets. And this is great if you want to make sure that one, your team is like always adding things correctly, and two, um, you have like just particular setups you want to make sure are always followed. So here, your presets basically let you say for different transactions, if you have a like type of transaction that's commonly repeated over time, like you buy a computer that's amortized over 36 or depreciated over 36 months, or you have an annual software license that's for 12 months, or you have an upfront conference payment for 1 month that always goes to advertising, or the annual software license always goes to software. You can basically set up these prepaids, or sorry, these presets. And then here you can just use a preset, and then this will automatically fill out all of the details for you, so that all you need to do is click post. If you have never set up a preset, we should change this, but you have to go to your accruals schedules for the first time, set up your first preset, click the gear icon here, and then this is where you can also access those accrual settings. Okay. Looks like we may have one question here. An anonymous attendee asked, are the presets at the firm level or the individual client level? Right now, they are client specific, but we are working on ways to do firm level presets. Okay. Next update I want to talk about briefly is client notes. Small improvement, but hopefully a good one, which is that these now auto save. If you click add, you're just typing a note here and typing some more notes here. You can see all of these auto save. And so that, where did that go? That is an embarrassing thing to demo if that just disappeared. Um, okay, for whatever reason, that disappeared, but then it reappeared. So we may have a slight bug to fix that, but as you can see, this did autosave, and further edits will also save. Modulo one-page refresh. So we have a small bug that we need to fix for this one. Now that is further proof that we do these demos live. So, okay, that's autosave that mostly works. We're going to move on to the next update, which is in assignable client questions. So if you use assignable client questions, which in case you're not familiar, assignable client questions lets you take specific questions and route them to specific contacts in the portal. You can turn that on in your practice settings by turning on this assignable client questions button. This disclaimer just says, like, FYI, if you don't have any questions assigned, then they will not be visible because no one will have access. So confirm that. And then if you have any questions here, you'll be able to assign them to different users. And the new addition is we now allow those to be assigned to multiple users at once. So if you have, let's say, a business owner who you want them to see all of the questions, and then you have individuals who may be responsible for just those specific questions, you can assign the owner, and then you can also assign all the other contacts that have those specific questions. Okay. And then last update of the standard agenda is in 1099s. So we do have more 1099s updates coming, but the big one here that I'm excited to show is you can now bulk. Make edits so you can bulk ask your clients if you have like three vendors, for example, and you wanted to bulk add those to the portal, you can do that by checking these boxes here on the left. So really easy. If you have a bunch of these, you don't need to go clicking ask client and then assigning them, especially if you have assignable questions enabled. All right. Well, those are the standard, that's all I've got for the standard update. So I will now go ahead and turn over to the open Q&A. Okay, Morgan said she is also having this issue today. So Morgan, rest assured, I have been sufficiently embarrassed on this call that I will make sure this bug gets taken care of. So apologies about that. Um, uh, Ty asks, will accruals apply to a prior month as well as a future? So this depends. I'll go to an accrual. I can talk a little bit more about how this works. So if, for example, you wanted this to apply, so right now we're in June, we're looking at a June transaction. If we wanted this to apply in May, we could do so just by setting the date from June to May. And then if we wanted this to be 1 month and have it only recognize in May, we could, of course, do that. Sort of backdate the transaction here. You can see the transaction date's June, the account date is May. So that's fine. If you have the books locked, it will not allow you to post this. Any transactions before that date. So it really just depends on what you want to do. Ellie asked, is there a feature that accrues monthly interest on notes or loans? Not yet, but that is something that we are planning to add to the existing accrual suite. An anonymous attendee asked, I have the extension, but I don't see the analyze difference button. If you wouldn't mind, drop into our support and they can take a look at it. And if they can't figure it out, I will take a look at it. Morgan asked, is there a way when you have multiple users for one client to say that only this user can view this file folder? Not currently, so we don't have a way to permission file folder access. So you can either just give people access to all files or no files, but definitely a good feature request. Chet asked, do we set up templates for client 1099 requests? You cannot. This is, I think, something that we should support. But right now, if you, so what Chet is talking about is the uninitiated here. Um, if you wanted to change these questions, like what happens when you use these, there's no way to do that currently. So we can definitely add one. An anonymous attendee asked, is there a way to add new accounts to the account rec section from the newly added accounts report? No, but that's a great idea. I like that a lot. On the notes, is there a way to make notes for a reviewer to make notes as they review a month for the team to see and go back to you in a prior month? Then is there a way to pull a history of these notes if, for example, there's an issue with the client, we need to document it. So I'll propose two options here, two things. So one is obviously the notes I described earlier here can be used as a running record of any closing issues that you might be encountering. And those are always here, always available and sorted by create a date. So you can, that can be a good working option. Another thing is in your account rec section specifically, if there is an issue on a rec, you can leave a comment. Then maybe the comment explains like, hey, here's why this isn't tying, or here's an issue going on with this account. And then one of the nice things you can do here is we have this compare feature that will let you pull up your June comments and compare them to your prior month's comments. So obviously, this is not specifically June, whatever your latest close is, and compare them to earlier versions as well. Sue asked, I'm having trouble finding the categories section you went over. Can you show that again? I'm not sure what you mean by category section, but if you can re-ask your question, then I can definitely show it again. Udi asked, I don't have the accruals menu. Is that just available for QuickBooks? Yes, that is currently just for QBO clients at the moment. Ellie asked, can you send W-9 requests to vendors? Absolutely. This is functionality that's been live for a long time, but I'm always happy to re-demo it. So you have these two columns here on the left or on the right. You've got Ask Client that will put it as a question in the portal, and you all vendor. So Ask Vendor, if you click button, will send your vendor a W-9 request. You can email the vendor. You can choose to CC your client contacts. You can CC an internal team member. And then when you create this request, it will email this vendor. And then it will also, I'll go ahead and do this here. It will also send them a link that looks like this. This is what we call a vendor request link. And then here, if they have a W-9, they can upload it directly here. If they don't have a W-9, they can click this form right here, fill out and e-sign one, and then you'll get a signed, filled out W-9 for your records. One of the other really nice small details here is we let you over here in the bottom left-hand corner that lets you take your, like oftentimes people who you need to request W-9s from do need bookkeeping services or do need to file 1099s. So oftentimes it's a good way to just promote the quality of your services down here in the bottom. We actually hear quite often from many of our customers that this helps drive incremental leads and new business. So really doesn't hurt you to have this. If you want to customize and configure these links, you can go to your practice settings, client portal, vendor requests, and then you can customize both the text and the domain. An anonymous attendee asked, can you print out all notes? No, not at this time, but that could be something that we could have. Maggie asked, can you tag a colleague in notes? You cannot. You can tag colleagues in comments, but not in notes. Sue asked, how do you turn on the accrual feature? If you you may see a banner at the top that says turn on accruals. If you dismiss that, then to turn on accruals, you go to your practice settings, all client settings, and then here you'll see client plan. And if you click the client plan, you can change them from core to plus to scale, depending on which feature set that you need. This is a 0 client, so we'll show that as a different one. So here you can either take your clients from a current plan and downgrade them or upgrade them, and scale is the plan that includes accruals. An anonymous attendee asked, there is a way, it's not really a question, but it is a reminder. So from an anonymous attendee, there is also a way to request a W-9 before the vendor gets to the prepared 29 section, but I don't remember how to do it. Okay, well, I will remind you. So if you go to your vendor request up here at the top and click add request, you can click W-9 request, and this gives you what we call a static vendor request link. This link is uniquely tied to this client. So you can send this client this link and say, hey, before you pay anyone or before you have anyone send you a bill, before we pay that bill, you need to get their W-9, just send them this link and they will fill it out. This link looks exactly like the other link, but it just sends them, it gives the vendor the ability to upload a W-9 right from here without you needing to reactively send out a vendor request. Okay, Aitza asked, can you walk through how to get to the compare comments section? Yes. So on your account reconciliations, for any comment here, if you click the comment, and this works even if you don't have a comment, and then click the 3 dots next to the comment, you'll see compare, and this will let you see all of the current closes comments and then the preceding 3 closes comments. This also works for files. So if you have a file here, or you're doing a roll forward, you can click compare and then see the files from the previous closes. So you could download this one and then roll it forward. As a separate note, we are also working on better roll forward logic. Erica asked, can you follow up with unanswered vendor requests in bulk? You cannot currently, however, you can you can send vendor reminders here. So if you see any one who has not responded, you can send them an email here, and this will autofill to the W9 request. You can also switch this to the W9 request reminder. And anonymous attendee asked, does the vendor W9 request come from the firm and or does it reference the client's name? How does the vendor know who the heck is asking for a W9? Great question. So this uses the practice email that you're already used to sending with. So yes, it does come from the firm. And these are part of your templates. These are called vendor email templates. So the W9 request says, hey, we're practice name. We do the books for client name. We need to collect a W9 from you. And then here's the link. So if you don't like this link or don't like this, you can change it. Then whatever you email when you send a vendor request will reflect that. Sue said, you mentioned there are going to be 1099s updates. When will they be rolling out? They should be all rolling out over the course of December because we know 1099 season is nigh upon us. Juan asked if we've used the W9 request link, but we email the vendor outside of the double feature. Can we add it to the pending vendor request to keep track of them? Yes. So what we recommend doing in that case is if you're going to send a request to a specific vendor and you want to track them, you can just click add request, or you can do this from the 1099s report. And then you just, so we can choose a vendor here, and then you just uncheck email vendor. And then you can create the request like that. Oh, we've already created one for 7-Eleven. So I will do, we'll do S6. You have to have their email. And then I don't know why it says optional if it's required, but you can create the request. Bad luck. Uh, hopefully not. Okay, there we go. One that we have not done before. Um, and then from there, you can just copy the link right here and then use that in the email. Morgan asked, does the compare comments feature only work for reconciliation tasks? At the moment, it does. Only for rec tasks. An anonymous attendee asked, can you create recurring non-transaction questions directly from the rec section, or do you have to click into the client comms tasks and build it out there? Today, it is the latter, so you have to go to your client communications non-transaction question and then add a recurring question from here. But definitely that is something that we want to make better. So you're hinting at a good feature that we want to improve on for sure. Okay, that appears to be all of the Q&A that we have had submitted thus far. Courtney asked, can we please get templates for recurring tasks? Maybe I'm misunderstanding that because we do have templates for recurring tasks in your templates. Um, you can set up a task to be recurring. What? I don't know why that test one is weird. Um, you can set a task to be recurring here in your templates.
She clarified in the recurring questions.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely take that to the product team. Okay. Maggie asked, so many good things today. Thank you, Maggie. Will there be a summary of today's session? Yes, there is one. This will be emailed to everyone on Thursday as part of the double digest. And to all of these videos and every other video we've ever recorded, it's available on our YouTube channel as well. So you can just search for double on YouTube and maybe you'll find us. But if not, our YouTube should be in our help center. You can also go to our help center. here, and then search for the double take. And then you'll see every webinar we've ever done right here, also with a summary of everything that we have talked about on that webinar. I will drop that link in the chat for anyone who is curious.
There's one other question that's in the chat that says, we've recently had some clients switch GLs. Is there a way to disconnect from QBO and connect to Sage or other GLs?
Yes, but not something that y'all can do directly. But if you write into the chat, remove that. If you write into the chat and say, "Hey, client such and such wants to like or is switching ledgers," just let the support team know. And what the support team can do is we can unlink that connection, and that will allow you to connect a new GL, whether that is like QuickBooks to QuickBooks, QuickBooks to Zero, Zero to Sage, or any combination thereof. So just ask the team, and then we can take it from there. An anonymous attendee asked, what is the best way to set up a client that uses a GL that Double doesn't currently support? Is that an unconnected client setup? It is. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, unconnected clients are the same as connected clients minus the connection. So obviously that's going to mean that you don't have things like your month-end file review, your transaction questions, your management reporting, your metrics, but all of the core workflow and communication capabilities are still there. So you can choose unconnected client here to add an unconnected client. And unlike all of the other integrated clients, unconnected clients are free. An anonymous attendee asked, please make the webinar series in reverse order. So the most recent is on top. That is a good idea. I will talk to our marketing team. That would make some sense. Morgan asked, is there any way to pull a sales tax liability report into Double? It depends what you want to see here. A couple of options I'll recommend. One is if you want, you could add your sales tax liability account to your account reconciliation section. That will both show you the let's see if I have a sales tax account here. I don't. I will pick a different one. That will show you both the balance as well as any transactions that are flowing into or out of that account. Alternatively, you can use in our transaction review, you can use our custom reports. So you can say, show me all reports where the account or split is your sales tax. Again, I don't have one, but is sales tax, and you can call this sales tax liability. Okay. Okay, Carol asked, have you got it fixed where if we put a client to archive, it will disconnect their QuickBooks account? I was not aware we didn't have this fixed. If you wouldn't mind writing this into our chat, I will have them escalate it up to me and then we will take a closer look. Okay. It seems like that is all the questions. Um, so I will go ahead and draw this webinar to a close. Thank you all once again so much for taking the time on what is always a very busy end of the month, but especially busy year as everyone's sort of getting ready for the holiday season. Um, I guess on that note, I will say I am deeply, deeply thankful to have y'all as such amazing customers. Truly, it makes every day worthwhile. So thank you all. I hope you have a great time with your family, and I will see you all right here next month.